Hi everyone, this is the first time here or you have come back to watch another video, welcome. And I am Nikki from the Happy Lost channel and business. I am an artist, photographer, cinematographer and sexual educator. Here I create videos on sexuality, gender, along with other topics for everyone to watch. This video will be a carry-on from my series where I talk about my research for my Master of Sexology degree last year. What was my research? Well, I was looking at orgasmic capacity and experience for trans women post-genital surgery. So today we will be diving into the sub-theme of relearning how to orgasm. So before we get into this, please press the subscribe button and bell to be notified of any updates. Give this a thumbs up or thumbs down if you like, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget my social media feeds, website and merchandise site. So let us get into it right after this. First things first, I would like to remind everyone of what I said in my previous videos on the research I carried out for the important things to consider. And yes, I will go through this with every video where I talk about these topics. So if you're familiar with this, then skip ahead. I'll put a time code down below. For those who do not skip ahead, I will include that list things to consider here to remind you, and if you have not watched any of these videos, I will put a link of one of the last video in one of the corners. Firstly, nowhere do I claim that the participants' experiences are generalizable to the wider community. This is partly due to the methodology used, which was qualitative research, and partly due to the small number of participants that I interviewed for this research. Also, everyone's experiences are individual and different, and there may be similarities, but that is as much as what we can say. Further, it is all very likely that the participants' experiences are atypical. We cannot say either way. Secondly, in my research paper, when talking about participants, I use pseudonyms. However, here in the public sphere, I will take things a bit further to protect the participants' identity. I will generalize their experiences, and if I do talk about individuals' experiences directly, I will depersonalize and not use any name or pseudonym. They will just be referred to as participant. Thirdly, this research was by far bigger than I had ever even imagined, and so we were not able to cover as much as what we needed to. Fourthly, as I've said every other time, a big thank you goes to the participants who participated in this research for sharing their experiences and time with me. Fifthly, five. And finally, I do not believe and do not suggest that reaching orgasm in any sexual activity is an absolute must, nor that it is and should be the ultimate goal of sexual activity. I cannot stress any of these enough. Next, I would like to remind everyone on the broad theme that we are covering at the moment, that this particular sub-theme also falls under. The broad theme is on orgasmic experience, which has several sub-themes, which are definition of orgasm, orgasm after hormones, relearning how to orgasm, how their orgasm changed, and finally, orgasm after surgery. So in the main theme, we are looking at the whole spectrum of their orgasmic experience across their lives and how it has changed due to hormones and surgery, and along with the processes of relearning as they experience orgasmic changes, if they did experience any. This particular subtheme, which we are looking at today, is the participants' experiences of relearning how to orgasm as they experience changes in orgasmic capacity and their perceptions in relation to it. Before we go into what I've found in my participants' experiences, I will briefly go through some of the barriers which people can experience. People can experience different barriers to experiencing an orgasm. Some of these can be related to the effects of hormone therapy or other medications, and other barriers can be related to physical or psychological issues. These barriers can occur at different stages of their personal journeys to being themselves. Hormone therapy can change sensitivity of genitalia and how they perceive sensations, which can result in the individual needing to change their sexual practices to reach orgasmic level. Other medications can restrict an individual's ability to reach orgasm, resulting in them learning to be satisfied with pleasurable sensations without orgasm. After surgery, surgical complications can alter their relationship with their genitalia, resulting in difficulty reaching orgasm or engaging in sexual practices. Additionally, healing outcomes can result in scarring and other tissue issues, which reduce sensitivity of the genitalia. For some people, they may experience oversensitivity issues of the genitalia, making it difficult to experience touch and pleasure from touch. And yet, for some people, none of these happen and do not experience any of these issues. So that is some of the physical barriers which people can experience. At the beginning of that list, I mentioned psychological barriers, which can be reasonably summed up into categories of apprehension and fear of past experiences dealing with their new genitalia and whether they will be able to orgasm after surgery. But we will return to these shortly. What I did say in my research was that post-genital surgery, participants' perception of their genitalia was based on their interactions with women and their experience with their previous genitalia. This generated a level of apprehension. Following surgery, participants had to comprehend genitalia sensations which were partly familiar yet different. Additionally, what felt good before did not necessarily feel good after surgery, resulting in an evolution of sexual stimulation techniques. However, following surgery, participants underwent a period of healing and waiting for the return of sensation, and a period of rediscovery. Some participants experience apprehension in engaging with themselves, fearing doing damage to their genitalia. And a common remark by participants was about waiting before sexually engaging with the genitalia because they did not want to cause any damage. This was despite their bodies experiencing periods of arousal and, for some, orgasm without intentional stimulation. The period when participants started to sexually engage with themselves varied, with some starting after 2 months and others later. For those who waited longer, waited until they had considered that their genitalia had healed sufficiently. A common experience when they started to sexually engage with themselves was a disconnect with the genitalia, finding the area to be initially numb. At the time, this was likely because sensations had not returned and the nerves had not fully reconnected. One of my participants noted their experience of numbness was likely due to the damaged nerves and tissue. So her reconnection with the genitalia and her orgasmic capacity had a slow development, but she got there in the end. Another participant experienced confusion and uncertainty about her sexual future as her genitalia felt painful and cold, and she did not see how she could ever feel sexual pleasure. As dark as these may seem, it was not all bad, and a lot of it was temporary. Generally speaking, most only had a short period before experiencing an orgasm after they had started to experiment with sexual stimulation. Most participants had experienced their first orgasm following surgery and sexual experimentation by 12 months. What this indicates is that for the majority of people, there was an element of relearning and sexual self-rediscovery in order to reach orgasm. The relearning aspects were as simple as learning new techniques which would work for them to more complex ones of moving past barriers of apprehension and fear. As one participant mentioned, it took many months before she not only enjoyed the physical experience, but also the mental and emotional experiences. And therefore, she was able to experience an orgasm in the end. However, common amongst the participants was that their first orgasmic experience was not strong, and that over time the intensity improved, indicating that perhaps the pelvic muscles had not redeveloped fully following surgery and required time and use to strengthen. Additionally, that the participants also required time to understand and to recognize their bodily experiences as orgasm. In the past videos, I have often talked about what other researchers have said about the theme that I was covering. However, this time there seemed to be a lack of research on relearning to be orgasmic, pretty much noting that there is a need to relearn due to hormones and surgery. They also indicated that for some people to become orgasmic, they required psychosexual therapy. But as can be seen with my research, there is not a single approach which will help everyone. There are many things to consider in order to help, and for some people it is just a matter of time and practice and perseverance. The hard thing about it is to orgasm or not to orgasm is in the end not important. An orgasm may or may not occur. What is important is the experience of pleasure. Remember, an orgasm should not be the focus of any sexual engagement. And before all the keyboard warriors get on and comment about this, it is coming from someone who is not very orgasmic with themselves, let alone with other people. And it took me many years before I experienced my first orgasm after surgery. And I had no known complications either with surgery or healing. Okay, so what is the next something that we will be looking at? That will be the one I labelled as orgasm after surgery. Finally, we get to that one. So right now, I would like to remind everyone what I said at the beginning of the series and also at the beginning of this video and every other video. An orgasm is not the be-all and end-all, nor the ultimate goal of any sexual activity, regardless of gender. And I will keep plugging these important points in each video, time and time again. I'm sorry, you'll probably get sick and tired of it, but I think it's important to actually really grasp that. If you like this content and would like to see more on motorcycles, art and sex related content, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell to be notified of any updates. If you would like to support this content, give this a thumbs up or thumbs down if you like, and leave a comment down below. There are also my social media feeds, my website and my merchandise site. Links are all down in the description. So until next time, bye.